Welcome, everybody. How you doing? I hope you are all happy and healthy, doing the things that you love with the people that you love doing them with. I'm Sean Butler. It's Saturday night, and this is the first ever fan member phone-in show. I've been putting it off because I've been really sick. I still am really sick, but I'm trying to get through the backlog of requests and the backlog of promises that I've made. I hope you're all happy and healthy doing the things. I've already said that bit. There's 150 of you in the house. We're just getting started. Guys, I don't know how this is going to go for a bunch of reasons. One, I've never done it before. Two, I'm going to have to show you how to get access to the link if you are new around these here parts and are a member. And I also don't know how my internet's going to go. My internet, as you know, is an absolute disaster. So we are going to maybe find ourselves in a situation where someone who's making their debut on the channel, maybe their debut on a live stream, is left holding the baby whilst I try to reconnect via 4G. It could be an absolute nonsense. It could be an absolute nonsense. How's everybody doing? Listen, let me start by saying, if you are a member of the show and if you want to come in and say hello, then the way that you do that is, I can see one person in the background already. Blaine Dev. Oh, the winner of the shirt that we did last night, the shirt giveaway. Welcome, mate. I will come to you guys I'll come to you in a second, my man. I've just got to get through everything. So to some people, so hang around in the background. Everyone's going to have to hang around in the background tonight and wait their turn. It's a first come, first serve type of thing. Let me show you how it's done. If you are a channel member, then just go to SpursTalkShow in YouTube, and then you will find this long list of tabs at the top: home, video, shorts, live, playlist, community, membership, channels, about, etc. If you click on the community tab, then you will be able to see a link. It's a streamyard.com / followed by a whole bunch of code. If you click on that, then you should be able to get brought into a StreamYard browser. And then from there, you will be in the background, depending on how many people want to come on. You could be waiting no time at all if it's just me, or you could be waiting around for a little while. I'm going to wait and see how we go, because this is the first time I'm doing it. It could be absolutely nobody in the background. It could be, or it could be very busy, but we're going to hope to give everyone, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. We're going to talk about a bunch of different topics. We've got to talk about the transfer window. I want to talk about the youth setup. I want to talk to you guys about Aymeric Laporte. Rumors out tonight that he is still interested, or not that he's interested, that we are interested in him. Harry Kane, what's going on with that? What are your thoughts on how that's going to figure itself out? What was Daniel Levy doing going to Miami? Do you believe that story? I don't know if it's been substantiated, but the rumors are there or thereabouts. I want to talk about tomorrow's game. We've got the penultimate game of the season, or the preseason, against Shakhtar Donetsk tomorrow. Is that the reason why Daniel Levy popped off to Miami? Because he didn't want to have to face the Shakhtar CEO who's trying to get some money out of him on a compromise on the Manor Solomon deal? What about Veliz? What about the transfer window overall? We're going to talk about as many different things as you want to. So what you guys got to do, if you are a member of the show, hit the community section and you'll find the link in there. And if no one wants to come on at all, because I've just seen that my man Brain Dev has actually just left the show, left the background. So maybe he only had a few minutes and he doesn't want to do it anymore. There you go. He's saying it now. I was thinking about coming on, Sean, but I'm genuinely shattered and I'm in bed now. No worries, my man. No worries at all. Well, look, if no one wants to come on, none of the members want to come on, then this will be a very quick show. I just wanted to put it out there and we can figure it out later on. But there are nearly 100 members of the show. Let's find out who is in the oh, here we go. We've got some people coming in. We've got some people coming in now in the background. Welcome, guys. I'll come to you. I'll bring you back on the show in a minute. Let me just say to some people in the comments, how you guys doing? We got a hedge. I've got no idea how to say that name, if that's even your name, but reads interestingly. Let me know how to phonetically say that. But good to see you, my man. Spurs fan, come on, you Spurs in the house. Tottenham 4-1 tomorrow or 3-0. Let's see who else is in the house. We've got member of the show, my man DrewZilla, the most generous moderator in all of the moderating. Thank you so much for your... he's in the background as well. He's going to come on. We're going to talk to him in just a minute. Who else we got? Let's welcome in Adrian Schroker's in the house as well. Good to see you, my man. Hope you're okay, buddy. Skyline 1372 is in the house. We got a new member of the show as well, Christopher LaPlante. Big up, my man. Good to see you. If you want to come on and say hello, you know now how to do it. Stratus is in the house as well. Really appreciate you, Christopher, for joining the team, my man. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Thanks for your support. Stratus is in the house. Good evening, my man. If you want to come on, let me know. You know how to do it. Tottenham LSG's in the house. Van der Ven will not improve our defense at defending. He's great coming out with the ball and will get us out of trouble a lot with speed, but he needs a rock next to him, and Romero isn't that rock. Interesting, my man. Jay Keaveney is also here. If I hear smash the like button one more time. Okay. Or just do it then. Or don't do it if you don't want to. But that's what we have to do. If we want our channels to grow, we have to ask people to smash the like button. And unfortunately, Mr. Keaveney, not enough people hit the like button. The ratios are always lower than they need to be or they should be. And look, we don't ask for anyone to pay us any money. We don't ask anyone for it. I never ask for super chats or anything else. But smashing the like button isn't that much of a problem, my man. It shouldn't be a problem for you. Don't roll your eyes. It's not a big deal. Laurie Boost is in the house. You have to see Beckham live to appreciate, as Saba said, his work rate. As an English fan, home and away, he was class. Where did we get to Beckham? How did Beckham come into it? No idea. Batu's in the house. Joe Lombardi's in the house. Member of the show. Big up, Joe. Good to see you. Let's go. Spurs Talk Show, says Drew. Going to speak to him in just a second. 133 in here. Let's get some more likes up in this bish. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Who else we got to say hello to? Toxic Headshot is in the house. Jay Mack is here as well. Stinging Nettle. Chris Mullet. Good to see you guys. John Skeffington. One Nod Monkey. Blaine Dev was thinking about coming on, but he's not. All right. And we got one new member. Another new member who's joining the show or joining the team. Dave Hood. Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. All right. Let's get the first guest on for the evening. His name is Frankly Tottenham. And we're going to see what he's got to say. How are you, Frank? Good to see you, my man. What is cracking? You're on mute, buddy. Can't hear you. Terrible start, Frank. Terrible start. Absolutely shambolic. I'll tell you what, mate. If you want to log out, I'll bring it. I'll go to Drew first. If you can fix that and come back, we'll come to you second, mate. I promise you, you'll come back in second. Nice one, mate. Don't come back. See if you can sort that one out. Let's bring in my man, DrewZilla. What's happening, Drew? How you doing, buddy?
Hello, mate. How are you? Can you hear me?
Well, mate. Yeah, I can hear you just fine. How's things?
Good, good. Oh, living the dream, mate. How are you?
Good. Whereabouts are you? Where in the world are you?
Kansas City, Missouri. Although my accent, yeah, exactly. I'm from Southeast London, bruv.
Okay.
So, yeah. I've been here for about 13 years. Although it sounds like I just got off the boat.
Yeah, you haven't adopted the accent at all, have you?
No, unless I need to go through a drive-through, and then it's like, hey, can I get a cheeseburger?
Yeah. Water with a D.
Yeah, water. How are you, my man?
Good, mate. Yeah, good. Look, it's the first time I'm doing this. I don't know how it's going to work out. Listen, I'll say it to you. I'll say it to everyone who comes on. If the internet collapses on me, are you going to be able to hold the fort until I can figure out it's going to take 2 minutes?
What? I feel like I might. I know a thing or two about this sort of thing. So if I need to hold the fort, I feel like I can do my end of the bargain for you, bro.
I appreciate it, mate. Listen, you're certainly holding up your end of the bargain with the modding, and thank you so much for the.
Well, I'll tell you what. Can I just say as well, just for the people listening, I just want to give you a little shout out because I've been watching you for maybe the best part of about 6 months, and I've just seen you go from strength to strength, and I just really appreciate just your perspective, dude. Do you know what I mean? Because you're not one way or the other. You like to throw in those little thought bombs. And I don't know. I just like the organic growth of the channel is just it just shows that you're just very much appreciated in the community, man. I think so.
Drew,
I just wanted to give you a little bit of respect.
Really, really cool of you to say it, man. You don't have to say it. Listen, this is your time to talk about Tottenham. I really appreciate you taking that time to say those kind words. And honestly, that feedback does mean the world. So I really appreciate it, mate. But listen, we've got, we can go in any direction you want. Would you like to talk about tomorrow's game? Would you like to talk about the Harry Kane scandal or the saga? Would you like to talk about the transfer window, defenders? Where would you like to go, mate? It's your time, and we can take it any direction you want.
I'll tell you what, can we talk about the fact that we're the only team in the world that would accept a bid from Russia for a player in the same week that we're playing a team from the Ukraine? Like, what's that about? Like, what is that? Who does that? Do you know what I mean?
And also, just to sprinkle a little bit more madness into it, in the same times, like the same transfer window, as we're the only team who would take advantage of the rules that shouldn't be the rule. The rules shouldn't exist that say that just because you're a team that happens to be playing in a country that's been invaded, that your best players can go for free. And you'll leave me in Hotspur go, did I hear free?
Yeah, right. And the thing is, right, I don't understand. Like, surely in the background, like FIFA, UEFA, like somebody somewhere, there should be some insurance on there. Like, it shouldn't solely fall on us to be the bad people, right? Like, we're taking advantage of a situation, but surely they should be paid on the back end of things. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It just puts us in a bit of a bad light. And it's yet again, it's one of those things where you look at it and you go, like, if I were to explain that situation to somebody and I didn't tell them the team, and I told him it was somebody in maybe the top 10, they'd be like, I bet it's Tottenham. Do you know what I mean? Because we're the only team capable of doing that stuff.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
But hey, what are you going to do?
So you have, let me ask you, do you have a desire the same as everybody else, I'd imagine, that's watching, to see the back of Davinson Sanchez? And if so, would you want him to move to Moscow?
No, absolutely not. Like, I'm of the mind that we paid for the guy. And I think to a certain extent, given the situation with the club, given the fact that we've gone from pillar to post, we've gone from Poch to Nuno to Mourinho to Conte, like, everyone wants to dog on all of our players.
Yeah.
But from my perspective, if I'd have been in a company and I'd have had 5 bosses in the last 4 years, I'd probably be arguably as annoyed as some of these players, right? I would not be giving my best. So while I completely understand people being upset and frustrated with him, I give him, like, if he doesn't want to move to Moscow, don't move to Moscow. I don't want to move to Moscow. Like, you could give me $100,000 a week. I still don't want to move to freaking Moscow.
Oh, I don't know about that. If you gave me $100,000 a week, I'd probably find a reason to go to Moscow.
I'd find maybe a bunker somewhere. But yeah. But you get what I mean. You get what I mean.
No, of course, yeah. If you were to offer me 10% more than what I earn now, I wouldn't give up my life to go. Listen, no slate on Moscow. I'm sure it's a wonderful place. I don't want to come across.
No, I'm sure it's delightful.
People, the environment right now is a bit different, right? A bit difficult.
Exactly. Yeah. You gotta take it with, understanding the situation as it is. You've got to take everything into consideration. So I get it.
So
I don't begrudge him not moving at all.
So what do you think we should do with Sanchez then? And also players like Joe Rodon, players like Eric Dyer, I tell you what, the list is endless, right? The list is endless right now.
Right, no, absolutely. And here's the thing, right? I watch you, and I watch Sava, and I watch Henry Wright. You guys are my main 3. And I watch some other people like sprinkled in, but I kind of get most of my information from you guys. Okay. Here's my thing, right? I feel like there are like 3 arguments. There's the argument that we shouldn't sell Harry Kane for any less than X amount, but we should also rip up the contracts of X, Y, and Z player because they're no good.
Yeah.
And then we should also break the bank for Y and Z player because they're the players we need.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all of those things can be true, But
you can't do them all.
like, what do you? Well, you can't do them all, right? So I genuinely don't know. Like Harry Kane, I love the guy. Do I wish he'd win a cup with us? Yes. Do I think his winning a cup with us? I genuinely think, and this is just my opinion, I'm not trying to rattle anybody. I genuinely think him winning a Carabao Cup and an FA Cup with us, I genuinely think would mean a little more to him than having to go to Germany and win the Bundesliga that's won every year by a club that's going to win it only every year. You know, I hear this thing about he's got no ambition. He's the most ambitious. He's trying to win a trophy with Tottenham. How is that not ambition?
I wonder whether or not, if you were to give him the offer right now, a guaranteed to stay at Tottenham and win an FA Cup versus go and win a title in Germany, I think he was. If he knew that if he stayed at Tottenham, he would win an FA Cup. I think he would choose to stay at Tottenham and and lift the FA Cup. But I think the only question mark is the Champions League. To me, going to Germany, can Harry Kane be the difference in helping them?
I'm also with you in terms of the whole legacy thing. Like, he doesn't need, in my eyes, he doesn't need to go to another team and win a team competition to cement his legacy as a fantastic player. Now, that's my opinion. Whether he feels he needs to do that is a completely different thing. I completely understand that he might want me to look at him on Wikipedia 10 years from now, and he might want me to scroll down to the bottom of the page and see Bundesliga champion. And okay, I get that, you know, and that's on him. But I don't know, for me, being a Tottenham boy I'm 43 years old, and my first memory of Tottenham is Gary Mabbott kneeing in the goal for the 1986 Coventry
before my time.
Yeah,
that was 2 at the time. That's an early memory, though.
Yeah, and that's my first memory. And then fucking Daniel Amokachi and his, Everton.
I was at that game at Ellen Road against Everton, the hat trick when we lost 4-1. I was at that game. And that was 1994, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. So that was the year that I was hoping I would see it, because 1991 I was a little too young. So I bet all my Lego toys on that we were going to get to the final, and then Amokachi. So
someone
I don't know, dude.
Someone threw a can. Some kid, some Leeds United lad threw a can of Coke at my head.
At the back of your head.
Back of my head.
I remember hearing this story.
Yeah. And I was at that game.
I didn't realise it was that actual game.
Yeah, it was that game.
All I can remember is him. There was one goal, I think it might have been the third goal, where at this point we'd thrown everybody forward, and he had 30 yards of open space and he scored. And I remember kicking the radiator in my front room as like a 12-year-old, and I broke my little toe. And my mum asked me what was going on, why I was in such pain. I was like, "It's all right, Mum. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it."
Yeah.
Good times, man. So in answer to you, I don't know, dude. I really don't know what we should do, because every answer is plausible, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, for me personally, I feel like, look, this particular transfer window is the weirdest one ever. I don't know where Daniel Levy's gone. I mean, but there's so much work to do. Even if he's happy now with the squad and he doesn't want to bring any more players in, there's about 10 players we need to get rid of and find new homes for. And, without Scott Munn around, I don't know who it is that's going to be pulling those strings. Do you believe the rumors, mate, that Daniel Levy's gone to Miami? Did you see that? The picture is all over the press. I don't know.
It's one of those things, right? You see the picture and you're like, okay, well, is this now or is this 2021? Like, you just never quite know. But even if it is, I don't believe in this day and age he needs to be in a country to make things happen or to pull off a deal. And who's to say, like, we can sit here and speculate, oh, he's gone on vacation for 2 weeks. He might be going to New York for a couple of days to, I don't know, help Joe Lewis for something. And then he might be coming back. Like, we don't know. So we can waste some energy all being up in arms. Where's Levy? Well, where's the ball bean counter? But we until he gets back, we just don't know, right?
No, exactly, mate. Exactly. I don't even know if he's actually officially there or not. All I've ever seen is that picture of him at an airport, but I never saw his boarding pass, so I don't know if he was actually on that particular plane or that particular night. You know, it could easily just be a big nothing burger. But I mean, look, there's lots to do for me. Let me ask you: do you want Harry Kane? What would you like for the outcome to be with Harry Kane?
I feel I don't want this to sound like I'm sitting on the fence. I feel like this is one of those things that people with a logical mindset would say. If he genuinely, and this kind of goes back to my previous thing, like, you know, people say, oh, it's Harry Kane, we've got to sell him for 120 million. Like, if he's going to go, we've got to get something for him. I'm of the mind that provided he doesn't down tools, which I don't think he will, because I think he's the consummate professional, I honestly don't mind if we lose him for nothing, because it's not my money. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
If the club,
but you will care. But you'll care next year when we can't go and.
Well, and this is the caveat, right?
Yeah.
I say this: if we were run like a proper club, and the club were going to invest money regardless, then I don't care what happens.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to turn around and tell me then that we absolutely need money for Kane, otherwise we can't progress as a team, then we absolutely need to sell him and we absolutely need to get money. But you and I know that we don't need the money because we're a really rich club. So we, like, in a perfect world, we could let him go for free. We could give him the send-off he deserves. We could just let him choose, and we could still reinforce the club with what we need in terms of another centre-back, a decent six. Mm-hmm. Probably, I'm on the fence with Richarlison. Like, something tells me that he probably could come good in a Ange Postecoglou system.
Mm-hmm.
I
think so as well. How good?
But just in the back of my mind, when I'm playing FIFA, he's not a player that I buy.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? It's one of those ones. Like, I'm not going to.
Yeah, honestly, I think there's a difference between better and good. You know, and you shouldn't let better be the enemy of good, right, in life. But
right.
I think that he will become better in the system, but whether he'll be good enough, I don't know. You know, it's
right. But then also, like, there's some what's that saying about the whole is the sum of the parts. Like,
yeah.
Just because I don't like him doesn't mean he might actually be the best number 9 in the system that we have.
I agree,
and therefore I might just have to suck an egg.
No, listen, I agree. I'm happy for him. Look, I'll make the same. I'll caveat this the same as you, saying that it's not a clear answer. What I would say is, if someone was to come along and offer me 50 million quid for Richarlison right now, I'd bite your hand off for it. I'd bite your hand off for 40 million.
Right.
But if he's going to hang around, and of course he is, then I do think we'll see a much better version of him this year than next year. You know,
I do.
Let me ask you this, mate.
Do you have other people to get on?
Yeah, there's a couple other people. So I'm going to give you the option. So look, it's the first time I'm doing this. I don't know. At the moment, there's only 2 people in the background. So if you want to hang around, then you can.
I'm hanging around. I got too much stuff to say. So you do your thing, and I'll be in the background. You let me know.
I'm saying you can hang around on the show, and we'll bring on Josh next.
Oh, okay.
And we'll just sort of grow the panel, and if there's more people join, then I'll ask you to pop out and bring more people in as they come along. All right, stay there, Drew, mate. Let's bring in the next guest of the evening, which is Josh P from Speaking Spurs. Oh, Josh, hello, mate. Josh.
Yes, it's me. Hello, Sean. How you doing, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm doing very well. You going to the game tomorrow?
I was thinking about it, mate. But I'm not. I'm gonna do a watch along instead, I think.
Okay, well, I'll let you know how it goes because I'm going to be there.
Nice, mate.
It's the first game that I'm taking my 9-year-old boy to, so I'm giving him his first ever Spurs experience. Hopefully, the atmosphere is quite good. Yeah. Are
you able to put your camera on, Josh, or are you otherwise disposed?
I will be in a second, mate. I'm literally just in the process of smoking a cigarette, so I don't want to do that on the screen.
Yeah, no worries at all, mate. I'd rather. I mean, look, I don't care if you want to smoke a cigarette on the screen. I don't care either way, mate. Josh, let me ask you this, my man. We've got 10, 15 topics I could ask you about. I'm going to go with, let's talk about tomorrow's game as you're going. Right. What do you want to see? Good to see you, mate. I hope you're well, mate. I haven't seen you for about a year. What do you want to see from the game tomorrow? Is there a particular lineup, bearing in mind that we've got 2 days later, we got the cup, we've got to play a little cup thing in Barcelona. I don't know if we're going to be able to recover all the 11 players for the second game. So do you want to see like an A team play 90 minutes tomorrow and then a separate team play Barcelona? Or do you want to keep to this thing we're seeing right now, which is like 45 minutes and then do the same again?
I want to see a lineup that involves Harry Kane. I don't care who plays how long. I just want to see a lineup with Harry Kane. If Harry Kane plays tomorrow, I think that's a statement of intent that he's here. If he doesn't play tomorrow, then I think he's gone. I think we know the inevitable is going to happen, that he will go to Bayern. And it's looking like it's more likely than not that he will be a Bayern player by the end of the week. But not only do I want to see Harry Kane play, I also, if this is the last time that we see him play, I want to see some atmosphere for him. I want to see him sent off. Yeah, I want to see him sent off with in the best possible way and thank him for, being a servant to this club. Let's face it, he could have had his choices anywhere over the last X amount of years to go anywhere he wanted to, but he's stuck with us through thick and thin. He's stuck with us, and I want him to feel appreciated. I don't think he gets that enough. I mean, a lot of people sit there and say Harry Kane's the best player on earth. Yeah, but there's saying this and then there's actually showing it.
Yeah. Know? Yeah. And do you expect him, like, I guess the question mark is, if he's going to leave, do you play him from the start or do you give him 10 minutes at the end as a final farewell? And do you judge, if he starts the game, does that intimate that we're not close to a deal, that there is no deal yet, and that Daniel Levy's playing hardball and all of the rumors around, ignoring the faxes or whatever it is, the emailed offers, all that stuff. Daniel Levy, maybe if he does start tomorrow, maybe that tells its own tale, because there's no way Bayern Munich would be okay with him starting a game, risking getting injured, if they're expecting him to be playing in Bayern Munich's team in 72 hours later.
That's it. I think if he starts and he plays the whole of the first half and some of the second, I think that goes to show that the deal's nowhere near done. However, I will say, as much as I am very much anti Daniel Levy, and I do want Daniel Levy out of the club, there is no one I would want more at the moment negotiating this deal for Harry Kane, because Daniel Levy, we know that he will get what he wants for Harry Kane. There's no other person I want negotiating the deal.
And what else do you want to see tomorrow, mate? I mean, Mickey van der Ven, it's too early for him.
Too early for him. I want to see a statement of intent, if I'm honest with you. I know it's a pre-season friendly and they're not much to go by, but I want to see a statement of intent. I want to see goal after goal after goal, showing a formation, showing a system that going forward will help us in the long term. I'm sick and tired of this boring football, this football that we saw under Jose Mourinho, under Antonio Conte. Let's brush that under the rug and let's start a new system, a style of fast flow attacking football. Let's get some goals, show some intent, show a bit of tenacity for once. I want to see a performance.
Okay. Hey, so Josh, stay there for 1 second. Drew, sorry, mate. Listen, I'm just seeing there's now like 5 or 6 people in the background, buddy. So I think I'm gonna do the one-on-one stuff, mate. Thank you so much for coming on, buddy. I really appreciate you. I'm gonna do these shows once or twice a week. I can't wait to see you on the next one. Absolute superstar. You broke the cherry of the fan phone-in show, Drew. Shout out to Drew in the chat. Appreciate you, Drew, mate. I will, and appreciate your support and your help on the
No, it's all good. I'll be here in the mods, man. So yeah, you need anything, just give me a shout.
Legend, mate. I'll see you on the next one as well. Appreciate
Come on,
you,
Drew. Spurs.
Come on, Spurs. Well done, Drew. Shout out to Drew. Josh, let's carry on, mate. Let's talk about the. I need to get your thoughts on the Harry Kane, on the Miami thing with Daniel Levy. Like, what's going on with that? Is he over there on holiday? Is it true, or is it?
No one knows. It's all speculation and rumors, isn't it? Like, people are saying that he's gone over to New York to help Joe Louis. Some people have said he's gone to Miami. So what if he's taking a holiday? Everyone takes a holiday every now and again. Bit
of a shit time to take a holiday, though, isn't it? But
someone
we've got 2 weeks left before 9 days until the season starts.
Yes, fair enough. But I'm pretty sure Daniel Levy isn't the only person involved in negotiations. I'm pretty sure he has a team of people helping him with this kind of thing. You know, the transfer window is relentless. It's especially the summer. It is relentless. You are going to get deal after offer, after breakdown, after deal. It's going to happen. I can only imagine that this is a very, very tough time, not only for Levy, but for the whole of the Tottenham squad. And if he wants to take a holiday, let him take a holiday. I mean, as far away from Spurs as he is, the better, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't care where he is. All I want to see is another centre back signed. As long as we get another centre back in before the end of the transfer window, hopefully before the end of the week, job's a good one for me.
So let me ask you that then. I think this is the key question I want to actually ask. I should have asked Drew. Didn't mean to forget. Drew, I'm going to get better at this. I'm the first time hosting this stuff, so I'm going to get better at it as we do it more and more. But let me ask you, Josh, if you get 120 million quid or 110 million pound, let's say that deal does happen on Tuesday, Wednesday next week, right? Obviously, we won't be able to get everything done before the first game of the season, but the window's open until September the 1st. How do you spend it? Do you spend it replacing Harry Kane, or do you take the money and fill the gaps elsewhere? And if so, what does that look like?
I think you need to get another striker in. I think you need a prolific goal scorer. Dusan Vlahovic is on the market at the moment. Juventus want to get rid. We need to hurry up and get the deal done. If it's going to happen, get it done. Yeah, I'm in the mindset now that Harry Kane has got a year left on his contract. If you can get 120 million pound for him, take it and run. Yeah, fair enough. He's the best player that Spurs have ever had. He's been a loyal servant. But if he isn't going to sign a new deal, cut your losses. Cut your losses, rebuild, move on. Yeah. Like that's the way to look at it, in my opinion. I think in terms of the business that could have been done, I think we've already missed out on an absolute gem in Daichi Kamada. He become a free agent.
He's only just signed.
He's just gone to Lazio. He's just gone to Lazio.
Literally a couple of days ago.
Yeah. We missed out on him.
Why? But no one was interested in him. He spent what's going on with him? Like why? Like it took him like a free transfer of that caliber. Was he 27? It doesn't. It's like I understand 26 is he? Yeah, like I don't understand why people weren't interested in him. Sometimes I wonder if there's no competition for a signature, especially when it's a free transfer. Is there something that we're missing there, Josh? You know what I mean?
He's a fantastic player. He was the kind of midfielder that we should have gone and replaced Højbjerg with. You know, if Højbjerg's going to go to Atletico Madrid, you should have got someone in like Daichi Kamada through the door. In my opinion.
So interesting. So if we lose Højbjerg, you want to see that money go for more of an attacking option because Kamada's more of an 8, like a forward 8 than he's not a 6.
He's a box to box. He's a defensive midfielder, but he plays forward. That's what I want to see. Yeah, he can push forward. Yeah, he can come back. But ultimately, someone that can feel that it basically does what Højbjerg already does, but if not better. Højbjerg does get in the box and he does fall back. But Daichi Kamada would have been a brilliant replacement for Højbjerg should Højbjerg have gone to Atletico Madrid, or should he go to Atletico Madrid. I now feel as if the options are they're slowly filtering themselves down to where the point if we don't do this business soon, it's not going to get done.
Who would be your number 6 of choice? I mean, the names that we talk about a lot on this channel are Ibrahim Sangare from PSV Eindhoven. I think he's an absolute beast. Frank Kessy's a name. Obviously, he might be going over to Saudi Arabia. Different types of players, even though they can both fill the 6. You've got players like Locatelli, amazing on the ball, amazing passing range, but probably too slow, or some people argue too slow to play. You know, that when you think about that 6, right? When in the transition, that 6, when the other team first get the ball, he has to cover maybe 1/5 of the pitch entirely by himself. So you need people that have got long legs, that have got amazing stamina, amazing work rate, and can pass the ball and can defend and intercept and all that stuff. I don't know there's very few players that can tick all the boxes. If not, I mean, I'm sorry, Josh, not to disagree with you, mate. I don't think Kamada personally is a 6. I think he's more of an advanced player, but whatever, you know, to each their own. Who would your preference be for if we do lose Højbjerg? Would you go down the 6 path, or would you go more of an offensive midfield option?
I'd go for someone like a Frank Kessie, but I feel as if that ship has already sailed. We were linked with him a few seasons ago. Didn't go for him then. We should have gone for it then. We should have had him on a pre-contractual agreement. Then it would have worked, but he isn't going to go now. If I'm honest, I don't have a name. I don't have a name.
No worries. What about the wing back situation or the fullback situation? A lot of people, I think, are sleeping on our weaknesses in those areas. We got a lot of numbers, a lot of names, but not a lot of depth, not a lot of quality. Are you comfortable going into, like, realistically, we can't change everything. Rome wasn't built in a day, Josh, right? So are you comfortable with the right back situation? Porro as a right back, Emerson Royale,
Emerson Royale, yes. Porro, no. I feel this is a bit of a grey area because it's a new system. It's a 4 at the back as opposed to a 5 at the back, so we don't really know if it's going to work with Emerson Royal or Porro, considering they were both played as wing backs. We're not going to have wing backs in this system. We're going to have right back and left back. You know.
Yep.
I don't know. I would rather get someone in through the door that is renowned in either a right back or a left back position as opposed to being a wing back. Someone that's got a bit of solidarity.
What about in terms of that? If we do sell Harry Kane, are you okay with the centre back options now? Mickey van der Ven's coming in. Ash Phillips, this 18-year-old from Blackburn, 6'4", built like a brick shithouse, absolutely. Incredible physique on the guy, but hasn't really done it at any level. 8 games in the Championship. One for the future or one for the squad rotation now? What's your thoughts?
I said it on Twitter earlier on when we first saw the signing. I quoted it and I went, "Can't wait to see this guy go out on loan for the rest of the season," because that's what it's going to be. He's going to get loaned out for the remainder of the season. Probably even in the January transfer window, he'll get loaned out. I don't think he comes into the squad straight away. In order for this to be a successful transfer window, defensively, we need to bring in someone like a Tapsoba as well. Bring a Tapsoba in, bring Van der Ven in. That's the defense. That's the defensive situation sorted.
You're happy then, yeah?
Yeah, you've got someone that will replace Eric Dyer. Gives Romero it can help rotate Romero at the same time. It's just it's the right back and left back position. Now you've mentioned it, it does worry me a little bit.
It worries me. Well, I lose sleep on it, or maybe I lose sleep about other things because it's not that important. But I do lose sleep a little bit thinking. And when I wake up in the night or I'm lying there, I'm like, what are we going to do left back? You know, if God forbid Destiny gets injured, I'm not even convinced Destiny's defensive skills are good enough. But let's assume that they are. I think we've got a real talent in Udoji for what it's worth. But I am a little bit concerned about his defensive attributes from what I've seen when he played for Udinese, Serge Reguilon. I mean, look, Ryan Sessions is on the injury table. You got Ben Davies, or you got Serge Reguilon. I mean, what do you do? How do you? What's your angle for the left back situation?
I prefer out of those two. I mean, you're asking me to choose the worst of two evils at that point.
I know. Yeah, rock in a hard place, right?
Ben Davies. Ben Davies
over Reggie, really?
Yeah,
okay.
100%.
All right. And listen, mate, last question, buddy. I really appreciate you coming on, Josh. It's great to have you back, mate. I've missed you in the community, man. You were a wonderful content creator before.
Thank you.
It's great to have you back, mate. Good to know you're still fighting and still doing well. Let me ask you last question. What's your expectations for the season from Ange Postecoglou, from the Tottenham team? Have you got high expectations, or are you kind of a little bit, more focused?
Realistically, we've got one season without European football. Let's use this season to gel, get a formation and a system going, and let's qualify for at least Europa League. At least, as a bare minimum, Europa League. Obviously,
this season, right?
Yes.
So Europa League, I believe, stretches to 7th this year. If the 5th place team, I believe, if the 5th place team has enough coefficient points, they get into the Champions League, which pushes 6th to Europa League, 7th to Europa League. And then 8th, I think, gets the Conference League. So you want Tottenham to finish. You expect Tottenham to finish 7th or 8th,
providing that the coefficient points don't come into place. I want us to at least qualify for Europa League as a bare minimum. That's setting it as it is. Anything above that, I think, is fantastic. But as a bare minimum, Europa League.
And cup runs.
Oh, of course. Who doesn't love a good cup run? I'm going to sit here and say, as a Spurs fan, I want Spurs to win the League Cup, the FA Cup, the Europa League.
Yeah, of
League.
course.
You know,
I'm not
going to say that.
You to say to ignore it. I mean,
realistically,
prioritize them.
I want to see us contend. I want a FA Cup, League Cup, and then Premier League.
Last two things I want to ask you, mate. Quick one name. The surprise, the team that's going to surprise for the year and the team that's going to disappoint for the year.
Luton and Chelsea.
Luton are going to disappoint?
No, Luton are going to impress.
Luton are going to impress and Chelsea are going to surprise. Luton are going to disappoint.
No, Chelsea are going to disappoint, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. All right. Listen, mate. Josh, it's been absolutely wonderful to get you back on, mate. Thanks for plug your channel. You got a channel to plug?
Yeah, I've got Speaking Spurs. But Sean, I've got one thing I need to ask you to do.
Yeah, of course.
Tomorrow, I want you to WhatsApp me with that iconic voice note for the first time this season. Bless me with it. Bless me with it.
It's game day! Yeah, I'll get it out for you, mate. Nice one, Josh.
Bless me with it. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much for having me on.
Cheers, Josh. Appreciate you, mate. I'll see you on the next one.
Cheers,
Big up, buddy. Big up. Listen, that's Josh Pavitt from Speaking Spurs. Get over this. I haven't got the link for Speaking Spurs, but if you are, look, Josh is a great guy. He was massive. He was big time around the community last year when I first came around. He was everywhere. Took a bit of a hiatus, and I haven't seen him since. But it's great to see him back. I want to say a big shout out to Jim Jam Pookie with a little donation. Thank you very much, my man. Really appreciate it. I haven't seen a message from you, and also from Foggy Foam. I'm not sure. Is that South African Rand? I think that's South African Rand. I haven't seen ZAR for a while. I think that's Rand. Appreciate the donation, Foggy. Good to see you, my man. Rodrigo De Paul would fit in that 6. Interesting name. I like Rodrigo De Paul. Wow, that's a name we haven't spoken about. That's one to talk about, maybe. He's a really interesting player. Very, very interesting indeed. Appreciate the super chat, my man. We are going to, I'm seeing Frank in the background saying, we're going to win the league, mate. We're going to talk about that, Frank. Listen, buddy, because I know you've been jumping in, jumping out. I know you've got issues, but Paul, I'm going to bring Paul on first. Then I'm going to bring you on. I think Daniel's disappeared, so you're straight in after Paul. Let me bring Paul into the chat. Paul, how you doing, my man? Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly, buddy. You're
brilliant. Hey. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. Yeah, looking forward to the game tomorrow.
Are you going?
Tickets? Yeah, absolutely.
Whereabouts are you from?
I'm northwest London, so yeah, sort of Kingsbury, Hendon area.
Or
East Upper.
Nice.
Block 524. Since when we went off to Wembley, because I can see the Wembley Arch from the house, so it's nice. That's when it was possible to get onto the list, which was like 500,000 long then. But Wembley, enjoyed the games we had at Wembley. Pochettino was amazing for us, how he held us together all that period of time.
Was he your favourite manager?
It was amazing. Nobody else could have done it.
So, Paul, let me ask you this. I haven't met you before. Thank you very much for the support on the show. Look forward to getting to know you over the in the future. What's your general sort of stance on Tottenham? Are you, as a season ticket holder, you've been around season ticket for the last 5 or 6 years, 4 or 5 years? Are you leaving? How do you feel about the ownership? Are you an optimist? Are you fairly pessimistic? Are you resentful of the ownership? How do you feel about them generally? Massive spectrum of viewpoints.
They've done a great job. They've done a great job on the assets. I love the White Hart Lane. But we had to move forward into the new age, and we were being distanced by clubs who had bigger stadiums and better revenue streams. Because, let's face it was a bit of a cowshed. You weren't going to be hosting big events in there and reeling in the money when it wasn't doing football. So Levy did a great job on that. Done a fantastic job on the training facilities. The tragedy is that he's just had his fingers in the football, and if he didn't have his fingers in the football, we'd be in a much better place. Yeah. And unfortunately, I think for fans, the ticket prices are just astronomical. And putting them up, like the way he's putting them up, I think is very poor. I look around the stadium, and I'm an old git, right? I want to see kids in there. I want to see young lads in there and young lasses, I want to see the families in there, because that's our next generation of supporters You don't see that. I'll worry about that for our game. And I really think Levy's been a baleful influence on the progress of the club. And actually this season, well, okay, I'd like to think he could take his management kudos and his checkered flag from his property stuff and say, okay, and give somebody the football thing. And I actually hoped that, Scott Bunn was going to be the person who was going to come in and help do that. That was his stated plan. And he's effed that up just like everything else on the football side. Just shocking. No director of football, no Scott Munn, just an absolute shambles. And I actually think whilst Paratici was being good on our recruitment and has definitely improved many things, he wasn't an organiser in the academy background. And I know we've just had some good lads coming through, some good lads, like they started to do well in the cups and the youth side. But I worry about seeing the coaches leaving from that area.
And Chris Powell, Chris Powell left.
I get really worried about that because, you can buy people, but we don't buy people very often. So the thing that really helps, regardless of whether you can buy people, is when lads come through into the team because they've come up through the academy wearing the shirt. It makes a difference in the dressing room. It builds the relationship between the supporters and the team on the pitch and all the rest of it. And not having people come through, I hate to see and say that you look across to some of our rivals who, relentlessly played Saka and Scott Rowe, and look at the difference that made because they bought, they said, right, these young lads are going to come through. And if you as a senior player aren't doing it, you can be on your bike. And if you're not going to do what I want you to do, these young lads are going to do it. And, that's how Arteta, Unai Emery tried it and the board didn't really back him. But Arteta persisted.
I think they made a massive mistake with Unai Emery. Unai Emery, I think, is a phenomenal manager.
Yeah.
I don't know why it didn't work out at Arsenal. I take your point, mate. And listen, considering we're talking about youth, let's focus on it a little bit. I mean, do you know much about? Do you have an opinion on Ash Phillips? Have you done any research on him?
Yeah,
or looked into him?
Definitely.
And Beliz, the new kid from Argentina. Interesting.
Well, I looked. I mean, Ashley Phillips, I think, is a fantastic purchase for us.
Yeah,
we have got a couple of, young centre backs coming through, but I would say that Ashley Phillips is ahead of them. Certainly because he's played for England and he really is. He's quality. He really is something special. Very, very special. That's good.
In fact, sorry, because I don't mean to interrupt. I sort of said let's talk about Veliz as well. Let's wait for Veliz. Yeah. I want to ask you about this. If you think that Ashley Phillips, like I do, I think he's going to be one. He's not quite ready yet, but he'll be there. Is there an argument to say we should look at this season as a building block, right? We shouldn't have too high expectations, and we should just see if we can get the Ange Ball thing going and build for look to move, and the 24-25 season be the season we get going. But if Tottenham were to go and sign a Tapsoba, who's only 24 himself, I think, 25, and if you then have a Tapsoba and a Van der Ven and a Romero, all in mid-20s, whether they work out or not, then does that block the access to the first team for Dorrington and for Ash Phillips in the future? Is there an argument to say, don't sign another superstar, give the minutes occasionally here and there, and let these youth players emerge and see where we go?
Well, I felt that actually in some ways this is the difficulty Ange has got because the club has left everything so late. I'm surprised he hasn't actually exploded because the defensive situation we've known about for 2 seasons at least. And I feel that, in a way he can put his marker down and say, well, look, I'm going to play these people. I'm going to play this defence. Unfortunately, until Van der Ven was signed, and I assume that signature is now going to go through with the medical and everything, you just have to have somebody extra. And I worry if one of them gets injured. So if you're thinking about it, you've got Romero, you've got Van der Ven. Who's the third person? as backup for that. Because it's
Well,
huge
at the moment, it's dire, right?
Yeah, and that's just a massive drop. I'm sorry, that's a massive drop off.
Yeah.
It just in every way, just in style. Just think about it. We can have our criticisms of Romero, and many of them justified for being rash and stuff. But you look at the quality of his passing, you look at the quality of his pressing, as the way he moves the ball quickly up the pitch. If he's got a reliable partner with him, and I also think somebody to challenge him, to keep him honest, which is why we need the additional quality, centre backs. That's a fantastic thing. Van der Ven and Romero would be absolutely bloody stunning for us. And I actually feel that we've got some good youngsters there alongside them. Doji will be good. He does make defensive mistakes, but I think collectively we need to start coaching. We haven't been coaching under. I think Mourinho did some coaching striker wise, but Conte didn't do coaching. And I think we need to coach our midfield. Yeah, and if we coach them, I think don't tell me we can't fashion a decent backline, a defensive line, if we've got Van der Ven, people like Ashley Phillips in there, and even our most, the players who've tried hard at right back, up at Leeds on the away game, Porro and Emerson Royale stood up well to a very, very physical, Leeds are desperate throwing the shop at us. And I know Leeds are inept, but they stood up to an extreme
Leeds forward line.
challenge.
Leeds forward line is very good. I think. Leeds
and they
are
were
a
smashing balls
weird
in there.
entity. Yeah,
and they were smashing balls in there. And that pair, they actually played together. Didn't just stand up for them, but they also managed to get us away and up the pitch. So, and that's a pairing that still had wet paint on it. I mean, Porro's only just rolled up, and as we all know, Romero has still been on an upward trajectory of improvement. And certainly when he was coming across and going up into midfield, he was definitely adding the numbers. If you remember, we played the crazy system of only having 2 in midfield, which was just ridiculous because teams knew what we were going to do and they just overran us. They stuck 3 in there. It was a miracle that that we didn't have more injuries. Bentancur just got worn out doing that. And Højbjerg ran into the ground. As we know, Højbjerg, as he gets more tired during the season, his form drops off. And, his form when he was at Leeds, honestly, he was appalling. He was dreadful. But I think a lot of that was just through sheer, just being ground down through the season. I'm not saying I want to keep it. I prefer we moved him on. But because we've now got great talent, Sarr and Bissouma.
Do you think Sarr could be
stunning?
Do you think Sarr could? So a couple more questions for you, but I'll start with the first one because you mentioned Sarr. I think I saw someone in the comments saying when I was describing the perfect 6 for this system, I think that a guy who's got a passing range, a guy who can play off both feet, a guy who's incredibly mobile, a guy who can intercept. Yeah, I think you are if you're picking a player in the squad,
it's Sarr.
It is Sarr, isn't it?
It is Sarr, and I put it. I think actually people are missing something out here. We all love this bit. Oh yeah, he gets stuck in. He does the flying challenges. That's, I think, a mistake. The thing you got to be looking at is how smart is the person? What's their anticipation like? Where do they position themselves? All these sort of flying in with death-defying tackles and stuff is actually an admission that you're in the wrong place. You shouldn't be in there. You should be like the little dustpan and brush. Just whip in there because you've anticipated what's going on and you sweep up. That's what you want. That calm, unflustered, intelligent play. You watch Sarr, you see one of the things that marks him out, in my opinion, I see him when he's about to receive the ball, and he already knows what he's going to do with it when the ball's coming.
I love. He does what Xavi and Iniesta used to do. He's always looking like that. Every 3 seconds, he's looking to the left, looking to the right, occupying or analysing the space. It's a wonderful thing to see for someone so young.
Yeah, and you can see obviously he's a youngish lad and grown quite tall, so he's like growing into his body, if you see what I mean. and I've watched, going to every game. I went to a lot of away games. I did all the European games as well. He was amazing. Wait a minute, absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
he bossed that part of the game. Now, just think about that.
Oh, the Milan game, away in Milan, he was phenomenal. Yeah,
that's like 9 months. That's nearly 6, 7, 8 months ago. And you look at his age, that trajectory, he's progressed onwards from there.
He hasn't been given very many minutes since, though, which under Conte or under Mason, weird,
but
right?
Mason did start to play him some more. And that's what's got to, I think he's one of the quality people we have to get in. And that's actually this season. My expectation is I actually don't care where we finish. That sounds crazy because honestly, Ange has got to sort out what's our best 25, and all the other people need to be, kicking a ball amongst themselves somewhere down the rec or the local playing field. He needs to get that bit focused, and then Levy can do what he wants for the rest of them. If he can't sell them, that's his own fault with his fantasy values on these people. But the Ange has to be able to fashion a side that has got depth on it, that can sustain a campaign. And so I look at it in terms of having at least 2 people at right back and left back. We're kind of nearly there. I think they won't be the best, but I think Udogie will polish up nicely with good coaching. I think Emerson and Porro are.
You think Porro can play right back? You're okay with his defensive weaknesses? No?
To be fair to I watched Porro, and his tackling improved immensely during the season. During as the season we're on, it did improve much from being totally useless to being better. But you're asking the guy; he's not a right back. He really isn't. And balls. The thing he's not good at on the fly to the ball over his head when he's defending. And what's behind him, and that spatial awareness he isn't good at. Looking forward, he's great because that's what he's normally been playing as, is the guy who looks forward. So I wouldn't want him at right back. But if you imagine if the rest of our back line was so much better, if he was at right back, because we needed Emerson rested or he had a knock or something, then he isn't under quite so much stress. The trouble with our team last season, what's happened over the last 3 years, our team is like one of those, like a Scrabble board when you're getting near the end of the game and you've got a load of V's, X's, L's, S's, and Z's. It's it's a whole load of pieces that don't fit together, and therefore everything looks bad. Whereas if you've got a bit more resilience, that then means that you can play to your strengths rather than, as what we've been doing, is always trying to patch over our weaknesses. And quite frankly, of course, it was just became laughable towards the end of this season. Last season, we were totally found out. Our weaknesses were so bad, and we were playing a dumb strategy, dumb system. So I'm not of the feeling that we should go rushing out and find another right back, because firstly, it'll cost a load of money to get a good person, and I think we should. If my view would, we should keep an eye out and then pick somebody up. That's what I think we should be doing.
But look, the market for right backs, Paul, at the moment seems to be incredibly inflated. Tino Livramento, 40 million quid for that guy. I mean, I don't know what's going on. It's absolutely
nuts, mate. I'm not doing that. And I actually watched this show. I mean, I watched, I watched some of the Championship highlights today. And you see we've got Dylan Markindale, who was, one of our youth
Blackburn Rovers, right?
Blackburn Rovers scored a cracking goal. Did actually help make one of the goals as well. He was, because he was the guy who did the intercept for this, but he wasn't a right back. His defensive, his defensive play wasn't that good. He made mistakes and things. To find a right back, I would be looking English and spend some time looking at the Championship, etc., and pick up a lad from there when the right one shows himself. And I think our problem has been our scouting has been very poor. It's only just started to improve.
That's Gabbanini. Gabbanini's the boy.
Gabbanini, I honestly think he's made a difference. He's made a difference. But we do need to watch our English quotient, because when we get to Europe, if we do get to Europe next season, and by the way, I think it will be a miracle for us to get 6th. I really do. Because you look at the team gets older. And yes, we've brought some new players in, but we're doing a handbrake turn, aren't we? We're doing a handbrake turn 180 on how we've been playing for the last 3 years. We've got this immensely bloated set of players, a load of vinegar and oil. We're trying to shake this lot together to get a team out of it. I trust Ange; he'll do it, and his coaching staff.
I think so as well, mate.
It's going to take time.
I think so too. I just think that
it'll be exciting.
The fullback situation for me, I just think is a can we should kick and worry about in January or the summer. Paul, I want to thank you for coming on, mate. Amazing debut. Cheers, same with everybody else. I really appreciate it. You're free flowing, very articulate man. I'm looking forward to meeting you. I'm a season ticket holder, so hopefully I'll get a chance to share a beer with you or something at the stadium. Two words before I let you go. Surprise of the season, disappointment of the season.
In terms of teams. I think Aston Villa will come on really strong. That's not a big surprise, but I think they will come on really strong. And I think a disappointment will be Palace, who've got some great players, but I think having another year of Hodgson is a mistake.
Interesting. All right, love it.
And they'll struggle. I think they'll struggle.
They could easily struggle, mate. So it's a very, very competitive league this year. I think it's going to be a fascinating turn up. Paul, I can't wait to meet you again, mate, on the next week's show and also in real life, mate. Thank you very much. Brilliant debut. Cheers. Appreciate you, buddy. You haven't got a channel or anything, have you?
No, I'm not.
All right, mate. Thanks for coming on, buddy. I'll see you again. See you soon.
All the best. Cheers. Bye.
Shout out to Paul in the comments, guys. Oh, let me get that the thing done. Hang on a second. Let me go back to. These bloody overlays are an absolute nightmare. Shout out to Paul. Look, we had absolute on a debut show. I was expecting it to be absolute carnage, if I'm honest. And the only person that's disappointed is me because I'm not used to it. But we're going to get better and better and better. Wonderful people that have come on so far. It's been great to meet them. Let me just get to a couple of super chats or membership. We got another member of the show, Husker Beat. What's happening, Husker Beat? Really appreciate your support, my man. Or my lady, I don't know, wouldn't want to presume gender or even sexuality, whatever it is, we're all good. Good to see you. Thank you for your support. And Donovan Davis with the super chat. Big up, Donovan. Lovely. I love that name, the alliteration, double D, Donovan Davis is very cool. Paul with so much truth, great insight, 100%. Paul was an absolute superstar. So was Josh. So was Drew. Who was the other person who I spoke to already? There's been 4 of us. Why is my memory, our short-term memory is not what it was? Who was the fourth? Who was the fourth, guys? I've had 4, haven't I? Oh, I'm nervous. Let's get the next guy on. Let me know if I'm forgetting someone. I think I am forgetting someone. I don't know why I am. I can't believe it. Anyway, whatever. Let's carry on. Let's bring in Frank. Frank, how are you, my man? Good to see you, buddy.
All right, mate.
Yeah, there we go. The mic's working now. The mic is working. Yeah, you're good. This is your new mic, isn't it?
This is like from the 90s. I had to grab something from the garage.
Oh, really? There you go, mate. How are you? You good?
Oh, I'm good. Good, Sean. How you doing? All right, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. What's the weather like in Florida today?
It's nice. It's nice. Humid, but, I've been living here for 7 years now. I got used to it, So everything's good here in Florida, but I do miss London. I was born and raised in London. I left London in '94. So I'm an old timer. I'm in my 50s.
94. That was the year that Tottenham. Was like that the Everton game at Ellen Road when we got beaten 4-1 by Daniel McCarthy.
We didn't get a lot of info back then. When I moved to America in the 90s, it was like
wasn't a thing.
I called my cousin. My cousin lived in England, and I called him up. So what's going on? And that's the only information I would be getting back then. And then in the early 2000s, 2008, then it just exploded in America with I can just
looks like it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I think you were on the show before the preseason friendly against Singapore.
Right.
We had all the Americans came on. And there's loads of people in the chat. It was unbelievable the percentage of people that were, and also Australia as well. I think the Australian thing might be more about Ange, but
I had to pay $45 to watch that Lions game.
Really?
The Spurs play. You know the Spurs play.
Oh yeah. So you got the ticket for all of them. Yeah. Listen, mate. Listen. Forget about paying the 40. Forget about trying to justify the value, because with that $45, you're going to also get access to see potentially one of the future, like the youth teams that will become one of the big teams of tomorrow. Right. How are you feeling about Tottenham's youth system? When you look, I spoke about it before. Ash Phillips, obviously, look, everything looks good with this kid. I don't know what we're going to do with him, but even if he's not a feature this year, he's going to be a big time player, in my opinion. Then you got this kid from Argentina, Veliz, that we've just signed. Right? You've got Donley, Dorrington, Sunsot, Bell. We've got a whole bunch of these young players coming through. Are you excited about the future?
Yeah, look, to be Sean, I've been diagnosed with going blind. So in 3 years, I won't be able to see. I'm on my knees. I'm on my knees praying for us to get a trophy before it all goes out. You know what I mean? So
I'm so sorry to hear that, mate.
It's all right. I just want to get where my stance is coming from watching Tottenham.
Yeah, no, I get it. So it's all about immediacy.
How irritated I get, you know. Can I swear on your show? Is it monetized?
Yeah, just go if you like. Go for it.
I get really fucking irritated, like in the last month. You know what I mean? And finally, we get the kid right, Mickey Van der Ven, and I would do anything to get Tap sober, because I think Tap sober would play over Romero. I would rather have Tap sober, and I think Romero it makes me nervous, like kind of thing. If we get to a semi-final of a League Cup or an FA Cup, I think the moment he'll fly in somewhere and get a red card, and all that work will be done for nothing. Tap sober. I've watched a lot of highlights on him, and he's solid. He's a beast, And now we got the speed of Mickey, and we need it when it comes to engine.
Oh, that pace is going to be fun, isn't it? It's going to be fun, because, Frank.
Playing like we're going to be playing like Man City virtually, like in probably a little bit more high tempo, and we need someone like the speed to get back, just to hold up that counter attack, so everyone can get back. If this all comes together, like when I made a cheeky comment on the private chat in the studio, and I said we could win the league. No, I don't think this year, but I think if the right people are bought next summer, we could. If Arsenal can be in first place for almost win it, we got Maddison. That's a player I've been dying to get for years.
Are you happy? But you excited about Maddison? Yeah,
absolutely. I was absolutely, when I got pissed drunk, I was like Maddison, and I was like, now just get the defenders. I want us to keep Reguilon, and
you like Reggie? Okay, yeah.
Well, I think Reguilon and Perisic work well together. Well, I've seen in the preseason 2 games. That's just 2 games. But I think use them together, when we're playing Luton at home, teams like that, When we're playing tough teams, I'd rather see Davis as the left back, and on the right side, Emerson. But yeah, it's just you just got to get the combinations of them right. And I think if Perisic keeps up the form, I think Sonny's got a little competition up there on the left side, and then you got Solomon.
Interesting angle, mate. Let me ask you this. Right, we've got, 37 players, 38 players in our squad. A couple of them maybe fit into the under, we haven't got to worry because their age is young enough. All that's cool. But we've got a lot of players we need to get rid of or put on loan. I think most people would have assumed 3 weeks ago that Perisic was out the door. He was either going to go back to Italy or go back to Croatia. I think most people would have assumed that Lo Celso was also out the door.
Yep.
Those 2 people are probably the biggest surprises of the preseason thus far.
Correct. I agree.
Let's stick with Perisic for the tech. We'll come to Lo Celso. With Perry, has his performances like, has it been a good surprise because you don't need to ask a 35-year-old to track back and play the wing back role. You put him on the front inside left, and he's cool, and he can do his cadence step overs, and everyone's happy.
Yeah.
And is he a better fit for the position than Sonny? And so, therefore, should we keep him around?
We definitely keep him around. If he plays, I mean, look, if he didn't want to stay here, Sean, why would he put in the performances in, West Ham and against some pub team, called the Lions, right? I mean, he looked like, he was probably man of the match there in the second preseason game. I mean, I mean, I wanted to stay around. I mean, more spices for the dish,
Well, that's another interesting point, right? It's options, because that's what Ange said when he was in charge of Brisbane Raw. He said he was accused of being a one-trick pony, and he said, "No, I'm a one-formation guy, but I have different players with different spices." To use your analogy, right? And the fact that when you can put one player here, one player there, and the recipe can look entirely different. It can taste different. Even though it looks the same, it can taste different depending on who you play. So if you have people that can do different things, but that are ultimately the same position type of player, then that creates the variety to become and to maintain unpredictability. And I think that is something I like to hear,
Yeah. And also I think Kane is definitely going to go, even though there's supposed to be a deadline, was it last night? I think eventually Kane will go. And then we're going to have a competition, I think, between Richarlison and then Son, and that opens the door for Perisic and Solomon to have you know what I mean? That way, because I checked, when Son was when Kane was injured with those ankle injuries, and Son played the number 9, he actually had a better goal to minute ratio than Kane. And that's quite surprising when you think. I mean, he didn't.
Who did?
Sonny.
Playing in the 9. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So look, I think if Kane goes, I personally would like to see Sonny take the 9, even though I have a kind of a soft spot for Richarlison, because he looks like he wants to fight for us and tear everyone's head off.
Yeah.
And he seems
you can't
to
hate the personality, can you? You can't hate his personality.
Yeah, you can. He's just one of those players you want to root for, just because he seems he wants it. And But technically he's the offside's an issue with him.
Yeah.
So that's why it's going to be.
Man was born offside, bro. He was born 2 minutes before his mum gave birth.
Yeah, my missus said to me last season when I used to say, "Fucking offside again." She's like, I said it about 6 times in the game. She's like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, Richarlison, he can't keep onside, and that, whether or not, that takes a lot of time out of the game. With everyone building up, the next thing he's offside, and everyone, and then they got the ball, and then build up and attack again. I hope 100%. That's something that will. I don't know. If Kane definitely does go, I just hope Sonny takes the spot and Richarlison is there as his backup. That's where I'm going with, because I like the idea of Perisic. But playing on the left there, but Perisic can't be defending though. So we got to be, Ange's got to pick the right games and everything. Like, he's got to have that board up and say, write down, okay, these are the guys I want to play on certain, you know what I mean? Because you can't put Perisic against Man City, right? I mean, you can't ask him to run back on a low block and get back up there and and try. I mean.
Well, this is the need for me. It's a brilliant point, mate. It's actually a brilliant point. Tottenham fans, myself included, are focusing on this possession-based system, and when we don't have the ball, we're going to be up this end of the pitch trying to fight for it back. The press has to be insanely perfect, insanely well drilled, so that you're forcing the team. You're forcing the opposition goalkeeper to hit it long. Then you need aerial threat strength. All that's it's all a recipe. It's all like a science in theory, But in reality, you're going to be coming up against 4 or 5 teams, maybe 6 teams next year that play possession football better than Tottenham.
Right.
Right. Man City is the obvious number one, but like Brighton is a perfect example of a team where Tottenham, despite wanting to have 70% possession, aren't going to have it. And so how do you handle it when you don't have the ball?
That's the thing, yeah.
Right. And I think you're right. Perisic is not the guy for that situation. I think you're absolutely
and the same with Porro when we play Man City. It's gonna be Emerson. It's not gonna be Odoji, it's gonna be Davis on the left, right? On the left back.
100%.
I just hope I have a question for you, Sean. Do you think Angie will change things like formation wise when he does play like a Man City? Will he kind of take his foot off the gas and maybe, be a little bit
more? I don't know, mate. Like as far as I'm aware, everywhere he's been at Brisbane Roar, I don't know, like his form, like there wasn't this like gap. He wasn't in Japan. He took over a team that I think was 16th, and he took them to win the league or whatever. But the team that he took over, the gap between them and the team that were first wasn't that big, and the team that was first wasn't that good. Right. I think that what's going to be really interesting is to see how this guy, how he handles it when he wants to play possession football against the team that demands possession football and that are better at it and more experienced at it. I don't know, mate. I don't want to sit here and say with confidence, Frank, because I don't have any. I don't know.
That's why this year is probably a test run. But when it comes to the domestic cups, I want like not like Poch and Conte. I want our best team. I mean, we're starting in the second round of the league, right? So we're not starting in the third round of the League Cup, right? We're starting in the second round. Am I right?
Yeah, we're back to we're a basic team again. We're basic rules.
Exactly. But I still want to see the best team, the best 11 in every fucking round when we go. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want to be like I don't know how many times I'm like watched us lose to a team like Colchester, and go, how did that happen? You know what I mean? It's just like
that can't happen anymore, mate. I think we have to change the approach. I've been saying this on my well, I'm not sure where I've been saying it, but my mindset right now is we need to become a cup team like Seville. We need to be someone that recognizes the gap in the league. That doesn't mean to disrespect the league, but it just means like go after the cups, treat them with the same. If you've got Arsenal at home on Sunday, but you've got Colchester away in the 5th round of the cup on the Wednesday before, you don't slack off against Colchester because you got Arsenal. I know that we all think Arsenal's a big deal, but Colchester's a big deal as well in that scenario. Right. And I think that Tottenham need to approach these games with a little bit less disdain and disrespect for these lower league clubs, because the last few years have been embarrassing. The way we've been treated, the way we treated European competitions, the way we treated cup competitions, it's been.
We haven't even won a Europa League, and we're treating it like it's just a shit.
Yeah,
cup.
We're too good for it. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly.
I would take the
Frank,
Conference League.
Oh, sorry, go on. So you saying?
No, I was just saying. That last season when we were in the Conference League, I would have happily, get the monkey off the back kind of thing and just say, hey, we want a trophy just to shut up Arsenal fans.
Oh, I would have loved the Conference League. I would have loved it. But you know what? With all that's happened with the transit, like what we're going through right now, I'm okay being out of Europe for this year. This year for me is like the start of a project, like low expectations, just experimentation, looking and be happy with good signs and tolerate and there'll be a lot of missteps, but we'll tolerate them, I think, together, Frank, right?
And one thing I know me is up next. One thing, if we beat teams like Man United and Arsenal, if we do and we beat them, it will be like a double win. It will feel that way.
Oh,
I mean,
mate, getting a scalp. Like we usually don't do very well against top 4. I will consider if we get 3 points against United at home early. I don't think we will, but if we could go away to Chelsea or to Liverpool next year and outplay them, and the system happens to work, and we can get with just that alone, an away win against the top four side.
I fall asleep to it, dreaming it, going like we're bashing the hell out of Liverpool or Arsenal, just going, and they're going, well, how are they doing it?
It'd be lovely to be on the surprising side of a result, mate. Frank, listen, we've got 2 more guests to get through. Mate, I thank you for coming on, bro. You've been absolute superstar again. Listen, by the way, mate, everyone's been showing you loads of love in the comment section, wishing you well.
Oh, thank you, everybody.
You're going through some stuff.
Thank you, everybody.
Mate, you've been saying a lot of things that everyone's resonating with as well, mate. I'll see you on the next one next week, mate.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cheers,
all right,
Frankie.
Later. Coys.
Take care, buddy.
All right, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
All right, guys, we got 2 more guests for the evening. Listen, I'll ask everyone if you are watching, even though you can still access the link, because it's 11:30. We're going to go until midnight. So we're going to get Mia on and then Chris, and that's it for tonight. And this is a wonderful first show thus far. Let's see if Mia can screw it up. Let's bring her in. How are you, Mia? Good to see you. She's got her camera on. How you doing, Mia? Good to see you.
I only had my camera on because you're going to tell me off otherwise. I wasn't going to, but I was like, he's only going to have a go at me. I don't know why, but he always has a go at me. Put the bloody camera on. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Not enjoying this weather. Nearly got my arm ripped off when I opened the door to let the dogs out. Bloody the wind, it's raining. My dogs, yeah.
The dog ripped your arm off?
No, the door, because the wind, when I let the dogs out, the arm, pulled my arm.
This is a problem for 4-foot people, isn't it? It's not a problem for people like me. I can hold on to a door.
Listen, it's because I'm so light as well. It ain't my bloody fault, is it? Like, I'm just little and light.
Stop making out like being light is an issue. Like being heavy is an issue. I'd love to be light. I'd love to lose weight. You sitting there complaining about getting taken away by the wind. It's not something I've ever had to face. Mia, let's talk about some Tottenham stuff. Listen, we got 10 topics. We got 10 topics we can look at. We can talk about the youth. We can talk about Valiers. We can talk about Phillips. We can talk about expectations this season. In fact, we'll keep that for the end of the 15-minute squeeze. Where do you want to go? Do you want to talk about tomorrow's game? Would you rather talk about Harry Kane and Daniel Levy? Where do you want to start, mate?
Oh, God, there's so much in there. Probably we can talk about the game tomorrow because I haven't actually spoken much about that, to be fair. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm a bit kind of like, it's going to be interesting to see who he puts out because as well, obviously, we can go a bit into the Harry Kane stuff, but if Harry plays or not, will that mean anything? Will it mean that he isn't going to play? So that means he's going. If he doesn't start, does that mean he's going to get 10 minutes because he might get injured? If he starts, does that mean that he's definitely not going? Like that's
the thing, right? So that's what we asked Josh at on the second guest of the show. If Harry Kane starts tomorrow, is that an indication that Daniel Levy has done that to Bayern Munich and said nah? And if Ange will have been told by someone, you either can play him or you can't play him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that definitely means that they've rejected it because I feel like the risk of him getting injured, there's no way that Bayern would have agreed and said, yes, he can go and play the full match or 45 minutes of the match because the risk of him getting injured, if they've already said, yes, we're accepting. And if we're waiting to accept till after the match, that could also be an issue because he might still get injured, right? So it would be really risky to kind of do that. So my feeling is that he isn't going to start. I think he's gone, personally. For me, I think he's gone. I think it would be foolish not to. Are you
happy for him to go, Mia? I don't know what your current take is on. Yeah.
Oh, my stance has always literally been the same, and I've got so much stick in comment sections about this. Literally, I got so much stick.
But but that's because you're someone. Yeah, I know. I remember now. That's because you've been banging this bandwagon around like, oh, he's got to go and win a trophy. Not because it's the right thing for Tottenham, but because it's the right thing for him. That's why you get the hate because you've been saying he's got to go and win a trophy.
What
You
I've
don't care
said,
about what's right for Tottenham.
no, it's about both. It's about us getting the money, because I've always said we can't allow, if you've got a car lot of banged up Ford Fiestas and Corsas, you're not going to let your Porsche go for free, are you? Like, you're not going to go, oh, I let my Porsche go for free, but I try and sell the bloody banged up Ford Fiesta. Kane's the Porsche. We can't let him go for free. That would be ridiculously bad business. As somebody, obviously, who's more business-minded person, you surely, like, obviously, anyone with that mindset.
No, I agree with you. I want him gone. I want to see.
Yeah.
I want him to go. Yeah, I'd like him to sign. I would like him to stay and sign, but he's not going to sign a new contract. So if he's not going to sign a new contract before the window shuts, then that's right. To me is, if that's the rule, then you let him go now. But listen, at the same time, Bayern Munich have acted appallingly, right? So
yeah, I realised that. Yeah, no, I understand that they haven't behaved the best. But I feel like for the fans' sake, we just need to know now, because I feel like all this toing and throwing, and also it's causing a lot of divide between fans too, right? It's just making fans question like each other on things.
Oh, Mia, there'll be divide whether Harry Kane is here or not. If Harry Kane goes, the divide between fans will pivot from Harry Kane to whether Sonny should be here or not, or whether Chris Boomer is the next big thing. You know,
everybody wants to, like, of course, like I do try and keep myself quite balanced as well when I do talk about things and why I think it as well. But yeah, I feel like Kane should go. Personally, I feel like it's the best thing for everybody. We get that money, we can reinvest, we can obviously, then get some players in. I feel, Joe, I think it's going to happen, actually. I think that if Kane goes, I think we're going to have a striker come in to replace him. I think it's going to be someone young. I don't think it's going to be somebody who is ready-made. Well, we've been linked with Gift Orban, haven't we? We've been
Did you like him?
Yeah, I think he's good, and I think he's young, and I think he's got probably quite a good amount to maybe learn. But I feel like that he is somebody that I think will suit Ange. From what I've seen, I think he's decent. We've been linked with
I can't remember seeing a 21-year-old that has an XG. Sorry for the stat merchants listening, but an XG of 10 and 20 goals. And then at the same time, in two different leagues, banging in 0.96 goals per game on average. And when I've watched him, it's good vibes, bro. This guy he knows what he's doing. Mia, can I ask you a favor?
Go on.
Can you hold fort for 25 seconds?
Yeah,
I am busting for a wee, and I know what I need.
It's a takeover.
I'm going to ask you for, you take over. Talk about whatever you want for 25 seconds. I'll be back, and then I'll mudge you for whatever you said. I'll be listening in the background, okay? Give me 2 seconds.
Sorry. So obviously for me, like I say, let me know what you guys think. Obviously, I can read the comments, but I feel like Kane's gone, personally. I really do. I feel like that this is now his time to sort of go off, do what he needs to do. As far as Richie goes, I know a lot of people get onto Richie's back, and I do get it, but I do feel like he needs to be given maybe a bit more of a chance. And I feel like he will come good. I don't think he's going to score excessive amount of goals. I really don't. But I do feel like that he will score enough goals, and then we will basically have the goals between all different players. And I feel like that's something that probably Ange's more gearing towards, because when he speaks, he literally talks about the team all the time. He never really talks about one player. He likes to talk about teams, doesn't he, Ange? And I feel like that maybe having a Kane is a bit of a distraction, really, by having somebody who's like the main man all the time, and everyone talks about Harry Kane, and it's all about Kane, because every time he mentions it, he always tries to go back to the team, doesn't he, about everybody, which I really like about Ange personally.
I'm a big fan of Ange, massive fan of Ange. I love Antipodeans. I lived in Australia for 3 years. Every Australian I've ever met that was successful always had a brilliant motivational kind of man management thing, Mia. It's really impressive. What I do want to ask you, and well done for holding fort. You didn't, as far as I could tell, do anything that I wouldn't have done. So well done.
Listen, I'm a professional.
Let me ask you about the the Harry Kane money. If we do sell, you want Harry Kane money to come in. What do you want to do with it? Do you said Gift Orban, right? He's available for 25 million. You'd be happy, right? If we go and buy Gift Orban, that might leave 70 million, 75 million. Does that mean that you would want to go and get a monster centre back? Do you want to go and get a left back or a right back or a six? Like, how do you want to spend that money?
Do you know what? It's with the Kane money, obviously, I feel like it might be worth getting another good centre back with that money. To get Gift Orban as well, and I think if we sell, I think we're going to sell a couple of players as well to top it up, and I feel we will get a replacement if Højbjerg goes. I think that replacement for Højbjerg to come in, and if we get rid of Ndombele as well. So if we get rid of Ndombele and Højbjerg, I think one coming in is probably enough. Because otherwise we're just overstocked in that central midfield again. Like that midfield is just too many players. And I hear you with the obviously regular.
Those three, Mia. Sorry, from Chris. Yeah. You're getting Gift Orban, you're getting the Taparoo, and you've got Ibrahim Sangare dictating and controlling things in the six. I don't care what happens with the outgoing players. Those three, and we are good. We are good.
Yeah, that would be. I think
top five stuff.
You know what? I think if we got them three players, I honestly feel like we always say a great window, etc. But I feel like that would genuinely be a fantastic window for us.
What score would you give it though? What sort
I
of score?
I would probably give that a 9.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. There's no such thing as a 9. What are you chatting? I'm gonna clip that. Hold you to that. Let's see what happens. No, listen. I'm messing. That would be.
Yeah, if we got them, I would say. Yeah, I think that would be a very, very good window. But
is there a concern though, Mia? Is there a concern if you go and get a Tapsoba who's 25, 20, whatever he is, 24, 20, 24, and then you've got Van der Ven who's 23, and you've got Romero who's 24? Does that shut the door on players like Ash Phillips and players like Dorrington? Does it not offer the access to the first team that we're looking for? This kind of class of 24, class of 25, whatever, that's emerging out of the youth team. How do those defenders get a shot if you've got three monsters that are only 24, 23, 24 in the team?
I think that he will still, if say for instance next season we have got some form of Europe, I feel he will be using more players, because don't forget we'll have more games if obviously, so they will get minutes. I think that he will rotate. I think that he will give the youth a chance, because I think that's the kind of thing that Ange likes to do. So I do think that he will somehow incorporate them into it. I can't see a world where we buy a player like Phillips and we don't use him. I really don't.
Okay.
Yes. Did you wash your hands?
Of course I did. Why are people asking? Why would you ask that sort of question? I wash my hands before I go to the toilet. I wash my hands before.
I don't think that's really what you're supposed to do, but okay. It's something that, listen, as someone who knows what boys are like, I'm always cautious. That's all. Just saying.
Listen, girls aren't that clean either, love. Like I know what you're talking about. Just trust me. Trust me on that one. All right, so okay, fair enough. Listen, let me ask you about tomorrow. We got 2 games in 48 hours, Sunday and Tuesday. One of them's a cup, not the Audi Cup, but it's one of them's a decent cup. We got to go for in Barcelona. I forget the name of it. How do you want us to shape up? In fact, before I let you ask that question, let me get a couple of super chats done. Bear with me 2 seconds. Loves music, big up, Loves. Hope you're okay, my man. Sean, bro, I can't become a member on an iPhone or on a phone. Yeah, you can, but I don't know how to do it because I don't watch YouTube on the phone. So there is a way of doing it. I don't know how you do it. If anyone in the comments knows the process, but I appreciate it. If not today, mate, we can figure out another time. But I really appreciate it, buddy. We got one more guest for the evening. It's Chris. He's going to come on in a few minutes, and then we're going to wrap up for the night because it's my first go at this, and I've got to be up early for the for Bugsy, basically. So, but
Don't
appreciate
blame
you,
poor
loves.
Bugsy. Poor Bugsy. She gets all the stick, bless her.
She gets the stick and the ball. She gets everything. She gets all the things she wants. And
Good.
Jamie is in the house as well. Big up, Jamie. Thank you for the support. You love Yusuf Fofana for the 6. Okay. Yeah, Fofana. Wow, man. I don't know. I think he's got a bit of a disciplinary record issue. I think he's a little bit reckless. I like him. He's a good player. He is a good player, Jamie. Yeah, statistically, he's probably very good. I haven't seen his stats. Whenever I've seen him play, I've always felt he's a little bit rash. And what we don't want is, when you have too much rash, it turns into eczema or psoriasis. And when you got Romero behind with his rashness, imagine if we went and signed the fella from Roma, Ibanez, and then you had Fofana in front of it. That would be skin problems that would require laser treatments. But I appreciate the super chat, my man Jamie. Good to see you, mate. Mia, back to the question I was going to ask you. How do you want to shape up tomorrow? Do you want to see us play a full first team tomorrow, give like 80 minutes or 70 minutes to them, and then give the other team, the other half of the squad, Barcelona? Or do you want to see it 45 minutes here, 45 minutes there, kind of same thing we've seen already?
Do you know what? I think that they at the stage now where we haven't played that many games, so I feel like the first team need to get minutes into their legs, and I think that really he needs to basically make it so he's got those teams. So they've got those teams set, so then we can give them those minutes. Personally, I feel like. Yeah, I just think they haven't had that many minutes, so why can't they play the 80 minutes? I think we've got enough players as well to do it. We've got enough players to let them have some minutes, make a couple of changes if need be, and then send another lot over to go and play the Barcelona game.
Which game is more important to you tomorrow? Do you want to see if Ange wants to give it like the 70-minute rules? I think Evan McCabe here is saying 60 minutes for the first 11. Is the first 11 do you want to see the first 11 tomorrow, or do you want to see the first 11 against Barca? The bigger test is Barcelona, but the first game's at home, so
I would probably put the team that because like every time we play, the second team always seems to be better, which is very strange. But I think that we need to play a stronger team against Barca, and whatever team he feels is stronger against Barcelona, because that's going to be a bigger test. And if they're the ones that he's more looking to play as his first team, I feel like they need to get more of a test like a Barcelona, because that is going to be a hard game. So we need to test them out to see how they are coming up against a team that is obviously a much more difficult game, where the Shakhtar game I feel is less important to be able to test them. You want to really test these players now and know who you're going to pick.
Love it, Mia. Mate, 2 questions or two answers, 1 surprise, 1 disappointment.
Oh, I think my surprise is going to be Brentford, because I feel like last year they did really well, Brentford, and I really like them. They weren't far behind us, to be fair. And I feel like they did really well. And my disappointment is going to be West Ham, just because they're West Ham and stuff West Ham.
Well, they came 17th or 16th last year. If they disappoint again, they'll be relegated. Are you saying West Ham's going down? Yes. West Ham's going down, Dr.
Yes.
We love to hear it, Mia. We love to hear it.
100%. Those bubble blowers, send them down, man. Let them go down.
See you later.
See you later. Go blow your bubble somewhere else.
They can't buy a replacement for Declan Rice. Every time they go, they get gazumped by someone last minute. Superb stuff. Mia, lovely to speak to you one-on-one. Thank you so much. I know I owe you. You asked me to come on your show a couple of days ago.
Yes.
I'll do it this week, okay? Just let me know and we'll figure out a time. But don't ask me to do it at 8:30 in the morning. I know you go live at that time, but this guy is either asleep or he's out with the dog at that point. So we'll have to do it at a different time. But
yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
all right. Cool. Cheers, Mia. Thanks so much for coming on. Shout out to Mia in the chat, everybody. She did a great job. Cheers, Mia. I'll see you on the next one.
No worries. Bye.
Take care, mate. Bye. And last but by no means least, guys, what a wonderful... What's going on? I'm not going to bother changing the thing. I'm going to start like this. Last but by no means least, guys, we got a new man. I think I've spoken to Chris before. I recognise the name, and I think I recognise the face. Chris, have I met you before?
No, you haven't, Sean.
Oh, I haven't. All right, then. Well,
No.
how you doing? Welcome to the show, my man. Welcome to the show.
Good, good.
Your name sounds very, very familiar to me.
Well, that's because I became a member as the show started.
Oh, you've been a member since. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's probably where I know you from. Thank you very much for the ongoing support, my man. Really appreciate it. It's been a long time. I should have done these last season as well, but I wasn't really. I didn't know where this channel was going to go.
Well, I became a member today. So.
Oh, you become a member today. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah,
There you go. Mate, whereabouts in the world are you?
Manassas, Virginia, in the U.S.
Where? Sorry, Virginia.
Virginia, yeah.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. I spent a long time in Virginia. I lived in New York for a few years and had to travel down the East Coast, the 13 colonies all the time. So I'm familiar with it. Very nice part of the world. Mate, let me ask you, where do you want to start? Have you got any particular topics that you want to get off your chest? Is it Harry Kane? Is it, I don't know, the tomorrow's game?
I think that I just want to be done with, this whole Kane saga. I think everybody does.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I just feel like we need to sell him because he doesn't appear like he really wants to be here. So,
you think he wants out? Yeah, I agree,
yeah.
mate. I think if he wanted to stay, he would have.
He would have signed. He would have signed the contract. So,
100%.
So yeah, I just want the saga to be over. I'm just it's getting to the point where it's just ridiculously boring to constantly talk about.
So what's the right money then? Let me ask you this, because everyone's like, some people are saying, like, it's not my money, I don't really care. Other people are saying, I want him to stay, I'll take the risk. But I know those people will get annoyed next summer if we need to replace him and he leaves for free and goes to United. Those same people that are demanding that we don't sell him now will suddenly have an issue with Daniel Levy next summer. So there's always going to be that kind of duplicity in the narrative. But to me, I think there is a reasonable conversation that fans should have around what is the right money, because whatever money you get for him, you're going to hope that 90% of it, give or take, is going to go back into the squad. And when you look at the amount of money that is being asked and paid for, like willingly paid for, for very average players, I've mentioned it before, like Livramento, 40 million. But then you've got Mohamed Kudus, 40 million.
Right.
And you kind of go, well, there's no comparison. Kudus is like an absolute superstar waiting to happen. Livramento is a Sessegnon waiting to happen. So, and then you look at Mason Mount, you look at Caicedo, Declan Rice. What is the right price for Harry Kane that may be the reason why Bayern Munich finally win the Champions League? What is the right price? Is it 120? Is it 100? Is it 100 million pound? What is it?
I think it's got to be between 100 and 120 million. I mean, when you got guys like Declan Rice, who's nowhere near as good as Kane, going for 105 million, it's definitely up a lot higher than Kane.
And so if you're Daniel Levy, Bayern Munich offered 87 million pound last night with about 15 million pound in add-ons, which would make it to 103 million pound. Apparently, Daniel Levy's just ignored it, went on holiday, right?
We're down to Miami.
I mean, you have to admire. You have to admire it, right? Like, he just doesn't care. Like, no one's telling him how it is. But like, what do you do if you're him? Do you accept it, or do you ask for a 10 mil more, and then are you willing to do business, or if you're Daniel Levy, what's your strategy?
Probably for the initial price, I would probably ask for about maybe £5 million more plus whatever the 15 million add-ons.
Okay.
And but the thing with the add-ons, it has to be achievable. If it's like something,
Yeah, good point. Yeah, because if the add-ons are we win the league, then okay, you're golden. If the add-ons are you win the Champions League 2 years in a row, maybe they're not worth anything, right? So you're right. The add-ons have to be achievable, 100%. And then what do you do with the money, Chris? What do you do with the money? Do you go and drop it on Kolo Muani? Do you go and spend 80 million quid on the next the next superstar, number 9, or do you fill the holes in the back?
I think the first thing we should do is get Tap Silva.
You want Tappy to tap, do you? Okay,
exactly. And then maybe like get like a 6 with, and maybe try and get like a right fullback as well if there's enough money available. Definitely, that's where I would go.
Yeah. Oh, right fullback. Another one.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got no. What's that? Sorry.
I just don't see Porro as a right back. He's
okay. So tell me what do you want to see happen with him? Because I don't think he's everyone says. I think that everyone is guilty. Not everyone, but I think a lot of people are guilty of saying he's not a right back, therefore he has to be a right forward, an inside forward. And I think that those two things don't necessarily add up. I agree he's not a right back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's a right inside forward. I don't think he's got quick enough feet. I think he's a good crosser of the ball. He's a good finisher, but I don't know if he's got the technical attributes for that. What do you think?
I just don't know where I really see Porro. I mean, yes, he's good going forward, but I think that's pretty much all he's really good at. So one can make an argument maybe a right forward, but I mean, I just don't know where to put him.
Yeah, look, for me, I think I don't know if the deal for him was an obligation or whether it was an option.
I believe it was an obligation to buy.
If it's an obligation, then so be it. But if it's an option, I think we might have taken the wrong option. I think right. I don't know where he fits in. I really don't.
I don't either. So I mean, he could be like the odd man out. Unfortunately,
no. I think there's a great player there. I think there's a really good player there. I just don't know if he's gonna. I have no confidence in playing. And listen, in every time he's played in the Ange system, he's played at right. Ange just played him at right back, and we haven't been challenged enough in our preseason. So I don't know what Ange could have possibly learned about his defensive abilities because we haven't really faced any, have we?
No, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind a left back as well if we can afford it, but I'm just not sure what left backs are available.
Left back. Well, listen, I think there's a perfect guy, a perfect utility player in Walker Peters, Kyle Walker Peters from Southampton. He played for us as a right back. He trained as a right back, but then at Southampton he played as a left back. So he's got that ability to invert. And I think that Southampton, in the Championship, he won't want to stay at the Championship. He will leave Southampton. To me, I think he is a perfect option to bring into the squad because he's very, very good defensively. He's very balanced. He's quick. He's a great tackler. He's got a good cross on him. He's 2-footed. He can play on the right and on the left. And I think if you go and sign something,
that sounds like an option, and also meets the homegrown quota as well. So,
and he's homegrown, exactly, mate. Exactly, yeah, exactly. What do you want to see tomorrow, mate? Against Shakhtar, are you looking for the strongest team? Are you looking for experimentation? How do you see the game going?
I kind of want to see a little bit more experimentation. because I think part of the point of preseason is to find out which players make up your best 11. And right now, I haven't really seen a whole lot from the first team that's really played, especially up in the forward area where Kane keeps dropping back and Sonny and Cooler just haven't been that great.
Yeah. What would you like to see? Do you see Sonny as the left pick, or do you see him playing in the 9 if Kane leaves? How do you see Sonny working out?
I think he's better than 9. And he's proven it during the times when all those times Kane was injured, that he can play the 9. So I definitely I think that's his best position. Just playing off the shoulder of the last defender.
Okay. And what about Decky? Is Decky your guy on the right? Are you confident with him, or do you share some of the concerns that a lot of people have that maybe he's not quite a player?
I have a lot of concerns with Decky on the right side. I think he would be more suited in Ange's system if he played on the left, where he can use his stronger left foot to whip in the crosses.
Yeah.
So
yeah, especially when you've got Destiny Udoji who can invert and come inside, right? So
exactly.
It makes him more natural. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think it's a big season. This season for me, Decky has to get back to his best. I think a lot of people were disappointed last year. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, Chris, because I think he was struggling to recover from an injury. But I think that, you have to see it this year, right?
I think so. I think there've been quite a bit of fan base who felt that way as well, and I'm one of them. He struggled because he was injured, and so maybe that was the reason. But so far in preseason, he hasn't really shown much.
Yeah, he hasn't. You're right. It's been a. I don't know how much. To be honest, I'm absolutely gobsmacked, Chris, that when you lose the game against Roma initially, they pull out. Then you put in the Sailors. You're not going to learn anything from that. When the game before was postponed because of bad weather, have we been ridiculously stupid here to not have squeezed in another game in the last 10 days ahead of this game tomorrow to try and get some more minutes? I feel like Ange Postecoglou has not seen any of these players anywhere near enough, and we are 7 days away or 6 days away from the season opener. Right? It's madness, isn't it?
It is absolute madness, and I think it's insanely stupid to book a tour to Thailand in monsoon season. So that was just whoever was in charge of setting up the preseason tour is a complete idiot, in my opinion. So.
We've got a lot of complete idiots in our hierarchy, Chris.
Exactly.
Mate. A lot of complete idiots, buddy.
I agree.
All right, mate. Listen, we've got a couple of minutes left before I need to round off. So I'll ask you the question I've asked everybody else, my man. Who's your surprise outfit for the season? Is there a team that you think are going to make people sit up and take notice? And then who's the team that's going to maybe disappoint?
I think Burnley's been a surprise. And I think...
Yeah, okay.
And
you think Burnley are going to be a good... Yeah, interesting.
I think so, yeah. I think under company, I think that they can do something. And then I think West Ham. Gotta be West Ham. They can't replace any of their
West Ham
best
down.
players. Yeah.
I'd love West Ham to go down. I'd love West Ham to go down. It'd be so good. See you later. Sayonara. Be fantastic. Exactly. Chris, listen, mate, dude, appreciate you coming on. Thank you for being on the anchor on the end of the stream, mate. You've been an absolute superstar. Thank you for waiting, mate. Make sure you come on again. We'll be doing these streams next week, mate. I'll let you go, but thank you so much, Chris. Really appreciate your support for the stream and the show. And I'll see you again, okay?
Right. See you again, Sean.
Cheers, Chris. See you, mate.
Bye.
Take care. All right, guys, that is, let me get this bloody overlay out of the way. There we go. Guys, that's it. Look, I mean, I don't know how you think it went. I thought it was excellent. First time at this. I need to learn how to ask better questions. I probably need to learn how to shut up a little bit more and let the guests speak. I will get better at it. But I think the guys tonight have been absolutely superb. The guys and the girls, Mia, of course, as well. Great to see everybody coming on. Let me know if you've got any feedback for me on hosting these things. I'm learning, I'm trying to improve, but I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that came on the show. And I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's been here in the comments all the way. Stephen Surridge, appreciate that support, my man. We got a super chat from Kaylee. Big up, Kaylee. Hope you're well, mum. Miss, isn't it? You told me it was a miss. Yeah, nice to see you, Kaylee. Hi, Sean. Just a note to hope you feel better soon. I've been on the tail end of COVID. I got COVID, and it's wiped me out for the last 2 weeks. But I'm good. Really appreciate it. Look, people coming in, giving me some support. Cracking show. It's nothing to do with me. It's all the guys that came on. Really, really appreciate it. We're going to do this every week. And listen, if the numbers grow and the demand is there, I'm happy to do it twice a week. But we are going to round off, guys. I've got to be up early. I've got to take the dog out. I've got to get some work done. And then we are going to be going live at 1 p.m. UK time. We're going to do an hour preview show or an hour show before the game against Shakhtar. The kickoff is 2 o'clock. The watch along is on right here. And I'll even put the link up, right? So anyone who's not a member, anyone else, we'll let everyone come in tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll start, if you guys want to come on and give your thoughts, who haven't said anything tonight, we'll put the link up. Maybe I'll start the show at 12:30 rather than 1. Let's get everyone on. Let's get an absolute round table. Let's see because tomorrow is a really big day. It's the biggest test, I think. Shakhtar Donetsk, I don't really know what sort of effort they're going to be putting in, but it's a massive day. It's going to be consequential, whether Harry Kane's in the team or is he not. That sort of thing we're going to have to digest together as a channel. I really appreciate you all. Guys, smash the like button. I haven't even been worried about the like button. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Please do help the channel grow. Scooter. Listen, last night, I don't know what was going on. Someone said it was my birthday. It wasn't my birthday. I had 1,000 happy birthday messages. I've had DMs. I've had WhatsApp messages. It's not my birthday. My birthday's in March, but I appreciate it. I do appreciate the thought. I don't mind having a second birthday. But guys, listen, you'll see me tomorrow about 1 o'clock or 12:30. If you want to come on, then be around, and we'll open up the gates until the game. When the game starts, I have to ask you all to leave so we can do the watch along, and then we'll get the open it up again afterwards. Guys, hit the like button on the way out. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks to the people that came on tonight. It was wonderful. Really enjoyed it. Also, I want to say a massive thank you to the new members, Chris, who I just spoke to, Dave Hood, Speaking Spurs, which is Josh. Good to see him. The super chat from Jim Jampuki, from Foggy Foam, from Donovan Davis, from Loves Music, from Jamie, and from Kaylee, and also a new member, Husker Beat. I look forward to meeting you all over the coming member phoning shows. I'm really exhausted after that. It was quite a lot of pressure and stress, but I think it went well. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you all. See you again. And as always, come on, you Spurs.